To Each a Tempo, an Ace Attorney and Elite Beat Agents fanfiction. Chapter 3. Foster Park spread out lush and green, bordered by oak groves, doused with midday sun. Police milling about the park's edges, however, ruined any relaxing mood the place might have had. The taxi grumbled away down the road, and Maya looked expectantly up at Phoenix.
Well, let's get started.
The cobbled main pathway wound through the center of the park lawns. It was probably full of pedestrians on any other day. Litter flecked the grass with white. Dark bars in the distance formed a stage platform Phoenix couldn't recall seeing before. All in all, an ordinary park. But the police movements drew Phoenix's eye, along the trees' shade and between tall trunks. A person could be spotted easily in such an open forest, with little leafy underbrush for cover. There would surely be witnesses with stories to untangle, and half-truths about a menacing, lurking figure in Foster Park's shadows.
Hey, there's Detective Gumshoe. Let's go ask him what's going on.
There was no need to go anywhere. Gumshoe already stormed towards them across the open field, bull fierce determination set into his face.
Listen, pal, I know what you're up to. Don't think you can get away with this.
Maybe, in a past life, Phoenix did something to deserve such a welcome. He rubbed his neck and stayed quiet as Gumshoe reached them, puffing ferociously. Discretion was always the better part of valor.
None of your lawyer tricks. I can't afford to have anything messing this case up, see? So no snooping around.
You got reinstated, Detective Gumshoe?
Catching his breath with a gulp, and settling a little as he looked to Maya, Gumshoe swiped at the back of his head.
Yeah, thanks to Mr. Edgeworth. He explained everything to the chief. And this case is serious. Half the force is working on it.
Back to bristling excitability. And back to glaring at Phoenix.
I can't even let you in, pal. Not this time.
Understandable enough. Anyone who didn't know Gumshoe might have been discouraged.
We're representing Mr. Lowe, the defendant. Can you tell us what happened?
I guess so. Just don't tell anyone, alright, pal? The details are confidential.
Which was why he was going to freely reveal them, of course.
We got a call at about 11:30 this morning about a mugging. Our men caught your guy making a break for the alleyways, and the lady was already dead.
The lady?
Yeah, here.
Gumshoe fished in his pockets and came up with a crumpled autopsy report, which he stuffed into Phoenix's hands.
A sweet little old lady, pal. How could anybody do that?
Morna Beasley, the report's cold print said. Age 86. Cause of death? Head trauma. And that was all it had to say. It was too early yet for a detailed report, Phoenix supposed.
Just walking in the park, minding her own business, and somebody comes along and whacks her in the head. It says something about people nowadays, doesn't it? The murderer will wish he never looked twice at her once Mr. Edgeworth is through with him.
Edgeworth was prosecuting a sensitive case. No wonder Gumshoe stood over the crime scene snarling at intruders. With so little preparation time, details were crucial. Anything might reveal itself as a weapon in their upcoming duel. The thought of Edgeworth's steel to rely on was at least reassuring. But if neither of them knew the full story...
Detective Gumshoe, this is a serious accusation, isn't it? Murdering an elderly woman in cold blood?
Darn right it is.
Then it's important we find the truth here. The murderer is obviously dangerous.
It made even more sense outside his head. Phoenix got the feeling he was onto something. He snatched the idea and ran with it.
If you accuse and convict the wrong person, the real murderer will still be at large. We can't allow that to happen.
Gumshoe's face twisted with the logical recoil. He scratched meekly at his head.
Yeah, I guess you're right, pal. Here I go, sticking my neck out again.
We'll be careful. Promise.
She could at least speak for herself.
Listen, just don't draw too much attention to yourself, alright? Take the back way, that path down there. There's not much except an outline at the crime scene anyway.
A smile spread wide on him.
Hope we can crack this one open, pal.
The main path led Phoenix and Maya down a gentle slope, past the neat-groomed grass with its peppering of litter. The garbage was mostly leaflets and bald paper napkins, a large function's leftovers fluttering and turning restless somersaults in the breeze. One paper cartwheeled to a rest at Phoenix's feet, and he stooped for it. Lacy script drew out Jesse and Jim's wedding itinerary, from opening salutations to closing ceremonies.
Oh, a wedding. I wish we could have seen it.
None of the events looked especially interesting. Speeches, dancing, a lunch that was probably underportioned and overpriced. Karaoke caught Phoenix's eye, and he grimaced. People still did that?
Weddings? I didn't think you'd like that kind of thing.
A girl's gotta have dreams, Nick.
She plucked the itinerary from his hands, and it promptly vanished into her waistband's bow.
Just think of all that food.
He got as far as imagining poofy white lace and a cake big enough for Maya to have 26 servings of, and that was when sympathy pain began in the general area of his back pants pocket. Weddings went through money like it was going out of style. Phoenix shuddered, scooped another itinerary off the grass for his own records, and looked over the nearby stage. It was the light-built, temporary variety, probably there only for the wedding, but now it was neighbor to a murder scene. If the wedding actually took place between the ornately printed times of 9 a.m. and noon, there would be more witnesses and more conflicting stories than Phoenix cared to think about.
Hey Nick, Maya.
And speaking of witnesses and stories, Larry appeared from one of the branching pathways, wearing his usual easy smirk and carrying a stack of papers. Phoenix nodded his greeting.
Hi, Larry. What brings you here?
He juggled the papers to his opposite elbow.
Passing out flyers.
With a wink, probably more impressive in his head than in any form of reality, he gave Phoenix and Maya sheets from the top of his stack.
Drop by the orchard, where the finest flavors in town grow.
A vaguely tree-like design graced the sheet, followed by paragraph-long dish descriptions of food. The orchard, apparently, was some sort of restaurant.
I hope you're being paid to go around saying that.
Phoenix stuffed the flyer into his pocket.
Yeah, the ladies like that kind of stuff. I promised the teacher I'd take it there. I just need a paycheck first.
Stevia panna cotta with Ida red compote and creme anglaise. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds great. Let's go there sometime, Nick.
Oh, the world was a cruel place for poor, innocent wallets.
Larry, there's a murder in the park this morning at around 11 a.m. Were you here?
11? Nah, I was long gone by then.
Larry shifted the stack again, slapping a hand to the top, too late to save a handful of flyers from sliding free.
I hit up the wedding party with these things, but they were starting the karaoke. These are trying to sing, man.
He wagged his coat sleeve, a slow to and fro.
Nobody in their right mind would stick around for that. I went to the other end of the park. There was some kid's soccer game that just let out maybe half an hour ago.
In that case, Phoenix decided as he gathered the fallen papers, Larry had gotten lucky and not seen a thing. Which meant they were all lucky.
Good. We don't have time to talk, but stay out of trouble, alright?
He returned the sheets to Larry's pile and gave the least pained smile he could manage.
Always do, Nick.
Another juggle, and Larry produced a thumbs up.
And really, drop by the orchard to buy something. The boss could use a little peace of mind.
Couldn't they all? Couldn't they all? The path Gumshoe suggested was an unassuming gap in the shrubbery, the beginning of a packed dirt footpath. Bootprints clung to the path's low points, at the edges of dark mud puddles. The path meandered around oak trunks, and Phoenix looked up at the green-lit canopy, listening to breeze in the leaves and dirt grinding under their shoes.
Not much at the crime scene. I wonder if Detective Gumshoe knows anything else, something he's not telling us. Or maybe it really is too early for the police to find anything, and we can grab a few clues?
Probably not soon. The police will still be here working on the crime scene.
Being thrown out of places by stern, glaring officers had never been Phoenix's idea of fun. Maya murmured disappointment and fell quiet. Trees gathered denser around them, and the path slithered around a thicket, joining up with a straight-ruled path that crunched sandy with their steps. A bird chirped in the distance, its two-note cry familiar, but nothing Phoenix could match a name to.
This park's nice.
Clapping her hands together, she turned to him.
We should take Pearlie here sometime, Nick. She'd love it. Maybe bring a picnic basket and...
Maya, keep your voice down.
Phoenix looked to the trees again, this time searching for moving figures.
We're not supposed to be here, remember?
Oh, right. Sorry.
He stifled the urge to roll his eyes, and instead watched the shapes of leafy branches passing by. Maybe the distant dark shape was a police officer. It kept still and offered no comfort. They carried on, over the sand-cupped shapes of footprints, through the sun-dappled woods. Footprints formed strings when Phoenix looked at them the right way, tight lines where walkers meandered slow, with wobbling breaks where something caught their attention. Who knew what stories the path had to tell, and that just since the last rain? A set of footprints veered in from the forest to join the others, blend with the parade and carry on. Daylight and concrete showed at the path's end, but closer than that, police tape cordoned off a square of pathway full of numbered flags. Footprints were noticeable again. Running footprints, dug in hard. Hadn't Stella told them that Stewart fled the scene? It took a moment to notice Maya missing. The quiet hung too thick without her. The air felt too empty. Phoenix turned, and her familiar shape demanded his attention, emerging purple and raven from between saplings.
Nick, look! I thought I saw something shiny.
It was a pair of sunglasses, half opened and gleaming. Phoenix dug in his briefcase for a zip-top bag, gratitude swelling warm at Maya's careful grip that wouldn't leave any fingerprints. So much for seeming like she never listened to him.
Good. Where was it?
Just over there. They looked like someone threw them. And if Stewart was running...
The glasses landed in the bag with a short, sharp rustle. Daylight grabbed the lenses. There was a slight yellow tint to the dark plastic.
Do you think these cool shades mean anything, Nick?
She plainly didn't mean it as a question. She prided him with her eyes.
Maybe. Why?
It's just that Stewart wouldn't tell us about his work, and...
Her eyes widened.
And in the cab with Stella, you decided you were going to solve a problem instead of just being all quiet and grumpy about it. Something's different.
Phoenix tried to connect the pieces, and they refused to mesh. He just held Maya's fiery gaze.
And the sunglasses, they're...
She flung her hands down.
Agents, Nick! Agents were here!
What? It can't.
And as he spluttered it, the pieces suddenly fit. Sleek shades and Stewart's mention of a suit, his tight-guarded secrets, and his reluctant confession.
My job is helping people.
But that was tabloid fare. How could...
And Stella was tapping out a song in the cab. Maybe they're both agents. You were acting different and there was music. Don't tell me you didn't hear it.
Stella's fingers tapping, spinning, conducting, and the tune he couldn't place. But how was idly tapping a tune anything like a hero's life-changing powers? How could that be real?
Look, we can ask Stewart.
Maya dug about in her pockets.
Ask him and see if he has a psych lock. I think there's enough power left. I tried to recharge it, but...
She drew the Magatama out, gripped it hard, and her face fell to aching regret.
I just haven't gotten that training yet. I'm sorry.
For all she learned, more always lay ahead. But that was true for everyone. Phoenix warmed inside and sighed.
All right, let's go ask him.
She nodded and pressed the Magatama into his hands. It still glowed ocean green and tingled with Medium's energy.
We'd better hurry then.
And as Maya's grip closes on his wrist and she begins to drag, as the Magatama sat smooth in his grasp and brought women's smiles to his edges of awareness, Phoenix believed, just a little. For all he had seen and done, what was another miracle? They found Stella where they had left her, leaning on the detention center wall, smiling encouragement.
Well, did you get what you need?
We sure did. But you can't always get what you want.
Stella lit again, the same golden satisfaction as when she had tapped notes in the cab. An old rhythm drifted through Phoenix's thoughts. Maybe they were following the right path after all. When Stewart returned to the visitation chair, still clutching his shoes, placing the bag careful on the table before him, he moved carefully and met Phoenix's eyes like a friendly challenge.
Got something to ask me, Mr. Wright?
Just believe, Nick.
I do.
He didn't know who the answer was meant for, and it didn't matter. He slipped a hand into his pocket and palmed the Magatama. The world changed when he borrowed Fey talents. An extra sense served him, a weird other dimension of awareness. Auras blended, color and sound forming a haunting dark song where they met. The rattle of chains filled Phoenix's head, and 3 Cyclocks bound Stewart, steely and defiant.
If you think you know something, shoot.
Nerves prickled on Phoenix's skin, a wave of emotion not his.
Hiding something. Protecting something.
Pearl's voice echoed around in his mind. He could nearly see the little girl by his side, watching with more wisdom than age.
You're keeping something from me. Something you don't want anyone to know. Maybe it's about your job?
Yeah, I was working in the park that morning.
A shudder darted through the chains.
Is that really important?
It's very important. We found running footprints on the forest pathway and...
A glance to the shoes. Sure enough, sand gathered in the bag's corners.
Those footprints belong to you.
Chains tremored as Tumbles ground inside one of the locks. Stewart chewed his lip.
I was in a hurry. What's weird about that?
Phoenix shook his head.
You were arrested outside the park, weren't you? Running down a hiker's path, headed towards some back alleys. You said you were wearing a suit and those good shoes? That doesn't sound like a park employee to me.
A jolt through reality, and one lock gave way. 1,000 dissipating smoke fragments around Stewart.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. Wright. It's not a very good story, is it?
Raking a hand through his thick hair, and there was more evidence, just a glimpse before Blonde buried it again, Stewart smiled wry.
Okay. What do you think I was doing then?
Being an urban legend, right alongside the lake monsters and UFOs? But who was Phoenix to look down on things like that, and then scry souls with a medium's ancient power? Reality was subjective, and the evidence all lined up. He placed the sunglasses on the table between them, near the plexiglass. He just had to be sure.
Are these yours?
A strange pulse, fear and relief blending together neutral. Stewart's smile didn't falter.
What makes you think that?
Not all secrets are painful, Mr. Nick.
But then why would they be secrets at all?
We found these in the park, thrown aside from the path. If these sunglasses were part of a distinctive uniform, and you didn't want to be recognized, you'd need to get rid of them while you ran.
Stewart shrugged, too stiff, stirring more pale feelings.
I wear shades once in a while.
More than once in a while, the evidence is right here on your face. You have the tan line from the sunglasses.
A faint mark across Stewart's nose and temples, but it was enough. A twitch through the locks, Tumbles clicking into place. Stewart paused for a moment, and the Magatama's tune filled the space between them.
Alright, they're mine. But what are you getting at, Mr. Wright? Do you really know what I do?
It all came to this. A target in the mists, and blazing pain through Phoenix's soul if his shot didn't fly true. He tightened his grip on the Magatama and took a deep breath.
You're wearing a suit and sunglasses, and if you help people, but can't say how, if you're anything like your friend Stella, if you help people the same way...
The magics pulled him, tugging eager towards the conclusion so that each note sang clearer.
You're an elite beat agent.
Cracking metal as the two locks shattered, spinning away in glittering shards. Relief won out and swelled, and Stewart's eyes closed, the chains snaking off him and rattling into nothingness.
Glad you think so.
The Magatama's spell faded, and the world sank back to plain gray walls. Stewart shifted to pull a wallet from his back pocket and pressed it open against the glass. Not a wallet at all, but a code number in the gold luster of a badge. His smile shone real in his eyes.
Agent J here.
To Each a Tempo was written by Pyrasaur. Ace Attorney and Elite Beat Agents are owned by Capcom and Enis, respectively. The narrator for this story is Genndy C.O.G. The voice of Phoenix Wright is Lastni. The voice of Maya Fey is Miki. The voice of Dick Gumshoe is Genndy C.O.G. The voice of Larry Butz is Jake the Maguire. The voice of Stella Nocturne is Swivelswirl. The voice of Stewart Lowe is Genndy C.O.G. The voice of Pearl Fey is RoseofSweetness. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.